Hello. Looks like we're good. How is everybody? We are live on Sunday night. We're kind of doing things a little different tonight. We promoted this more on YouTube. If you could do us a favor, like we always do, will you guys just jump in and say hi on the chat? I'm kind of curious if we get any more YouTube visitors than what we've gotten in the past, and if we're on Facebook. I don't think Marilyn said it was.
Oh, no, here it is.
Oh, we're good? Okay, cool. So I see Paul Belt is on Facebook tonight. Hi, Paul. Jonathan Calhoun, you're here with us as well. Jim Manley also from Facebook or from YouTube. And then whoever's saying hi on Facebook, I can't really tell who you are.
Okay, so on the Facebook side, we have Joseph Beaton.
Hi, Joseph.
And Crystal Reynolds.
And Crystal, hello. Tammy looks like Tammy Mello as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Paul is also on Facebook, so that's great. Hey, so just like always, if you guys click like, if you jump into the comments there, that helps mess with algorithms. We're going to talk a little about algorithms later, but anyway, it gets us to the top of people's feeds. So the more that you interact with this feed, the more chance there is that people are going to be able to see it. So we appreciate all the likes and loves and all of those things, and just the comments to let us know that you're here and who's here. That would be amazing. So we appreciate you being with us on our Sunday evening live. So,
and then the Cannons are also here.
Hello, Cannons. Welcome. So, yeah. How's it going?
It's going good.
It's going good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year to everybody here. Hope you guys
we made it through 2021.
We did.
So, what a ride.
We had 2020, then we had 2021. Who knows what 2022 will hold for us? And that'll be a kind of a topic of our conversation tonight. As we go into the new year, we're going to spend a little bit of time just talking about kind of New Year's resolutions and kind of what we expect moving forward, and what things are going to look like and what we're going to need from everybody. So that's going to be a big part of what we're saying here tonight, right?
Sounds good.
Cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Just as always, we wanted to let you guys know. The thing is, we were talking the other day, we have so many new people that are coming in all the time, which is great. That's fantastic because the message is spreading. The group is expanding. We've got several different ways that people can get a hold of us now. What started as a Facebook group has expanded into multiple different ways that people can interact with us. And that was one of the things that was great about being able to cross stream with YouTube and stuff, is we can pull all those folks, especially those who don't do Facebook or all that. So anyway, we're going to be, just talking about ways that you can find us. And we were talking about this kind of gets it feels repetitive, right? For us.
Yes.
Because we feel like we're saying the same things every week.
Yeah. And not even just for us, but for those that have been, like watching our lives, like regularly every week for the last however long we've been doing this, several months. And I'm like, why do we need to talk about that? I already know that. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. We probably have new people that haven't heard that and they don't know that information. And so I'm like, we have to have the repetitive part.
Right.
So sorry.
Yeah, so there's new folks every week. And, we'll just spend the first couple of minutes here talking about the different ways that you can find us. So, one of those ways obviously is on Facebook. That's where everything started. If you want to find us there, maybe you're a YouTube person and you're not part of our Facebook group, but you are on Facebook. You can go find us at Unmasked Tulare County. There's that asterisk there for the A. We were trying to, throw off the algorithms, and so they wouldn't find us. But I think they found us because we're getting shadow banned and all
they're
kinds of
watching us.
crazy stuff going on. But anyway, if you want to join us and you haven't on Facebook, that's how you get a hold of us there. We are also on Instagram. A lot of people don't know this, but we've had a lot of requests for us to be on Instagram. So we did add a Instagram page. So it's at Unmasked Tulare County with the underscores there. If you are on Instagram and have not gone and found us yet, please do that. And, that's a great way to kind of get updates and see what's going on as well. The third one that we're doing is Telegram. And this was originally created sort of as a backup because we knew that at some point we might get kicked off of Facebook and would need to have a place where people could gather and, stay connected.
Yeah.
But we've kind of found too that Telegram is nice because it's unfiltered, or it's unmonitored, I guess. Censored. Yeah. So there's no censorship going on there. So what was just going to be a backup group has kind of become lively. Like there's a lot of discussion on there. There's a lot of people that share things, and which is great. So, there's another place where you can interact with us, and you're going to get some of that content that maybe would get kicked off Facebook real quick. Full disclosure, we don't have a way of filtering those things. We don't approve posts. So, not everything in there necessarily is, something that we would post, but, we're also not trying to censor anybody as far as what they want to say. So, you're going to have a lot more of an unfiltered conversation when it comes to Telegram. You can find us there as well. And so several of you here are watching us on YouTube right now. We do stream these things live on YouTube. You can find our channel at Unmasked Tulare County, and hopefully you'll subscribe to that. There's a little button that you can click on for notifications, which is great because that allows you to just kind of get a notification whenever we go live. So go ahead and subscribe and like our videos, and share that with your friends and stuff as well. So we'd love to get a bigger group going on YouTube every week. So those are kind of the primary ways to find us. One other really big one that has some resources and all that other stuff is our website. So, we have our website. Thank you, Paul Belt, for creating and maintaining that. And our website is www.unmaskedtularecounty.com. And so, like I said, there's resources on there. We've had our naughty and nice list, which has been a fun thing that you guys have been really helping with, and getting going. And what that is it's a list you can click on from our website, and it'll tell you all the different county places that we know of that are either friendly when it comes to the masking thing, or unfriendly. So the naughty list would be the ones who are kicking us out if we're not wearing a mask, and the nice list are the ones that either fully embrace our way of thinking, or they at least won't mess with you if you're going in trying to participate or partake of whatever they're doing. So, the naughty and nice list is cool. That's on the website. There's also other resources, ways that you can get a hold of your school boards, ways that you can purchase resources. Like we have our yard signs, we have our shirts, sweatshirts, all that kind of stuff. So there's like a little store on there where you can go in and make purchases if you'd like. There's donate buttons. So, it does cost money to even do this live stream. The way that we do it, being able to use cross platforms like Facebook and YouTube at the same time, there's a cost that's associated with that. And, we've done a lot of out-of-pocket stuff, and we've had some people who've, given some donations, but, just understanding that it does cost money. We try not to put stuff out there saying, hey, we need your money, but, it does cost money. So if you come across a few extra bucks and want to donate, that would be great. And we're so grateful to those who have. So also on the website, there is an opportunity to get on an email list. So really, when you first go onto our website, there's going to be a little pop-up that comes up and asks you to join our email list. And we'll just ask for, that email information and stuff, so we can get out information. And in the new year, you're going to start seeing more emails from us. We've been talking about kind of doing I don't know if I'd call it a newsletter, but maybe like a weekly, email that goes out that tells you the things that have happened in the last week or what's coming up. And there's also an opportunity. We've been kind of experimenting. Some of you may have gotten some text messages from us. We're using a mass texting service, or at least experimenting with that, because we feel like that's a great way to keep in touch with people and really get in front of them. Because Facebook, we know, is messing with us.
Well, we've had several people that came over the weekend to pick up their orders, their sweatshirts and stuff. And we were talking to them. We're like, oh yeah, we do our lives on Sunday. And they were like, what?
Yeah.
We're like, really? You don't see us?
Right.
They're like, no, we didn't know you did that.
Right.
And we're like, we're getting shadow banned. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But now, people know, but we're just trying to get word out, really is what it is. And, you have to kind of work the system a little bit. How do you do that? Just text people, tell them what's, that's really how you get in contact with people.
So I'd be curious just to know with everybody there, if any of you, if you want to just, put a comment in there, did the mass text get to you? Are you on that list?
Well,
I want to say we have several.
Crystal said mass text is working.
Oh, great. So at least some of you are getting these texts. And if you're not, it's because we don't have your cell phone number. So, what you can do is just go onto the website and, fill out that mailer list, the email list thing. Or if you'd like, we also have a directory that we're keeping. And this came about on that day. You guys probably all remember a handful of months ago when like social media went down, right? Everybody was like freaking out because Facebook was down, Twitter was down, all of that. And we're just like, oh man, if everything went down like that, we'd need to have a way to be able to get in touch with people. And so we came up with this idea to have a directory that we'll keep a printed version of. Marilyn and I will keep a printed version. We're not, handing them out to everybody, but it would have, things on there like your name, your address, your phone number, your email, or any combination of those things that you're comfortable with giving. So if you don't want to give us, your address, you don't have to. But we were just thinking if things really kind of went to the dark ages, then, we'd have to have addresses so we could track everybody down.
Yeah.
But, so the printed directory is kind of a big deal. And you can find that on our Facebook group page. Let me bring that up. Hang on. When you actually go to our group page, it'll be pinned up at the very top. Also, if you're with us on Telegram, I believe. Do this
wrong. So if you go to so here's the very top of our page. And if you kind of scroll down where it says featured, I don't know if you can see that or not. It says unmasked Tulare County directory information.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's out of Zoom.
Yeah, but anyways,
get the point. You just click on it and just add whatever information you'd like. Or if you don't want to add your information, then don't click on it.
Yeah, and it's and a lot of, if you already have, don't do it again because then it just kind of gets cluttered. But if you haven't done that and you happen to be watching that, it takes 15 seconds to go click on that thing. We'll also post that link in the Telegram page. So if you're not on Facebook, you can grab that on Telegram and make sure that you get that information to us. So anyway, I know that was like 10 minutes of just throwing out all these different things, but just wanted you guys to know we're doing our best to be able to keep in contact with everybody, spread the word about what's happening. Because really this year, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, but there's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on this year. And there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to need everybody's participation. So being able to communicate and being able to stay connected is going to be critical. And we know that especially once we got past our 1,500 people threshold on Facebook, that they've started watching us. We've seen a lot of like posts deleted and people who have been suspended off Facebook or put in Facebook jail based on like really minor things, I think, that have happened in Facebook. So we know that they're watching us. So we have to have a better way of keeping in contact with people.
Yeah. And actually huge kudos to you guys, because I didn't post this on the group, but we actually just passed 1,700 people.
Yeah.
So good job.
So combine that with the people we have who are not on Facebook, we're up close to about 2,000, which is great. And hopefully we can double that, in the year coming up, which would be fantastic. So just a little just the little stuff that we've done for marketing right now, we're actually up higher. We're something close to double people watching this live right now. We have several who are on YouTube, which is fantastic. And we appreciate all of you doing that.
So earlier, Paul had commented and said that there were 6 on YouTube and 12 here on Facebook.
Earlier, yeah.
But that was a couple minutes ago. So I know it's got to be more than that. So I feel like our reach is getting bigger, which is good. That's what we need.
Mm-hmm.
And we need more involvement.
And if you're on YouTube, if you do me a favor and just put a comment in there about how you saw the link for this feed, because we put it in several places. We did send out a text. Thank you, Paul, for that. We did send out an email blast to those who are on the list that had information. Thank you, Paul, for that. And we also put it on Telegram with links to the Facebook page or the YouTube page as well. So anyway, just all this stuff. We're trying to be as good of communicators as we can when it comes to getting word out there. And now that we're past the holiday season, it's time to get back to work. So that's what we're doing. I wanted to do something real fun for just a second. We kind of got an idea in one of the last lives that we did, just kind of a trivia thing. We'd asked, I think it was what Christmas movie we were going to watch after our live. And we're going to give away
nobody
a prize.
Guessed it.
Nobody did. It was, what was it? It was Griswold's, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was.
I think you're right.
I think
actually,
it was National
you know what? I
Lampoon's
was going to
Christmas
say
Vacation.
I thought it was Die Hard, but no.
No, we just watched Die Hard the other night. Is a Christmas movie, by the way. You can debate it in the comments, but Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Not a Christmas movie.
It is totally a Christmas movie. So you can see we're house divided.
I'm outvoted. Yeah.
So anyway, wanted to do another little kind of trivia thing. We're gonna give away. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. There you go. So what this is a car decal for your window. And so, we're going to give this away to the first person who can guess. What was it?
How long we've been married.
Yep. So how long? I was putting her on the spot here.
Or do I remember how long we've been married?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. No. So who can guess how many years Marilyn and I have been married? The first person to throw it into a comment is going to win their very own Unmasked Tulare County window sticker. So I see some answers coming in. 20 years.
I don't see.
Dang, how old do you guys think we are? I'm just kidding. So I've got 20, 22. Okay, so there's a little bit of a delay
20. There. Okay, got it. Somebody said.
Oh, wait.
10.
I think we have a winner here. This just says Facebook user. Tammy was the first one in on this at 18 years. So Tammy, you're right. Jonathan, you were right as well, but you came in a little bit after Tammy did. So anyway, we have been married for 18 years. Like when we had our anniversary, I said, now our marriage is
were 10 when we got married.
Yeah, that's true. True-ish. But yeah, we've been married for 18 years. And so Tammy, we've got a window sticker for you. So when we see you,
you know what? I think we have some shirts or a sweatshirt or something.
We have t-shirts.
We have t-shirts that we owe you too.
Yep.
So anyways, we'll have to get those to you when we get your.
You guys are Karen Jones. You got 18 years. I would imagine that's Marilyn's mom. So I would hope that you would get that. But you're a little late on the draw there. Jim Manley, you got it right as well. Somebody said 12 years. We actually had a lot of 18 years. Now it's not our anniversary, but our anniversary is in May. But we just thought that would be. We were looking for a trivia question that you couldn't just go Google the answer to. So we figured it'd have to be, about us. But anyway, that's just kind of a fun thing. So Tammy, congratulations on your window sticker, and we'll get that over to you. All right. So tomorrow is kind of a big day, right?
It's a big day.
It's going to be a long day, but it's going to be a big, exciting day.
I'm excited.
I am too. So tomorrow, for those who don't know, if you haven't been on these lives or haven't been, getting the information for the last few months, tomorrow is the rally at the Capitol. So the state capitol in Sacramento. We're taking a couple buses up there, and we are going to join in with some patriots from around the state, hopefully tens of thousands of patriots from around the state. We're going to go up there. Tomorrow happens to be the first day that the legislators are back in session. Mm-hmm. So they all have to report to work tomorrow, and we're going to be there in mass just to let them know that how things are going is not how they're going to continue.
In mass, M-A-S-S, not mask.
I know it. Every time I say that, we're going to be there in large quantity.
Well, when you said it, I knew what you said.
Yeah.
But
in case it comes through weird on the feed.
And I don't know that it
no,
was funny.
You got it. So anyway, tomorrow is the trip to the Capitol. So we're going to be there at 1:00. Buses will be leaving at 8 a.m., one out of Tulare, one out of Exeter. If you want to make a last minute plan to join us, you can reach out to either Marilyn or myself, and we'll get that worked out. Several of you are going to be traveling yourselves for various reasons, and that's great. So we'll meet up once we get there, and it'll be great. So I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be great. We want to let them know that the way things have been going are not the way that it's going to be okay for those things to continue. And we've talked about 99.9% of everything we do is local.
Yes.
Right. We are a local group.
Yes. We are a grassroots movement. We believe in I'm trying to think of the words. I'm totally drawing a blank, but we just believe in really putting our hands and our feet in our community and making a difference within our community. And I'm really big on, for those who know General Michael Flynn, I love his saying, which is local action has a national impact.
Yeah.
And when I first heard that, it really just sprung something in me where I was just like, I can make a difference.
Sure.
And it might seem insignificant, but it can have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And it can impact our nation. And so that's
been the focus.
Yes. 100%. Oh yes. Yeah.
That's been the focus, and it'll continue being the focus. We're not changing course in that we're trying to become a statewide organization or anything like that. But we knew almost since the beginning, since we started having conversations with our elected officials, since we started having conversations with school boards and county supervisors and all of that, like everybody's kind of told us, hey, the problem's at the Sacramento level, our hands are tied, there's blah, 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 nothing we can do, all that, which we know is garbage, but that's what they believe the truth is. And we knew that at some point we were going to have to start knocking on Sacramento's door as well, because that is where legislation happens that trickles down and impacts our local areas. And so we were looking for an opportunity to be able to go up there and join something that was big, that could have some impact, and that was happening while the legislators were actually in session. So we'd been looking for a date. We'd been looking for somewhere to be able to go up and rally in Sacramento. And so that January 3rd date is the day. So we're not going to be, just so you guys know, we're not going to be asking you to go to Sacramento every other week. We're not going to be, asking everybody to, really go hammer things down at the statewide level. Now, we should be in contact with our local representatives on the statewide level. So for those of us in Tulare County, that's mostly Devin Mathis on the House of Representatives side, Shannon Grove on the Senate side. Interestingly enough, Shannon Grove will be one of our speakers tomorrow out at the Capitol, which is great news. I mean, she's like-minded with us, and it'll be great to hear what she has to say.
Yeah, she's actually one of the speakers tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I was checking. I'm replying to messages on the phone.
I got you.
On my phone. Sorry.
That's okay. So anyway, it's going to be a great event, and I'm really excited for it. And hopefully we'll be able to make some good connections with other people as well who can help with what we're doing. And I'm hoping it'll fire up our base really well going into this new year. And that's going to be fantastic. So if you happen to be able to go tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. on the west steps of the Capitol is where this all is going to be taking place. So, get there. If you don't have to leave like 4:00 in the morning to make the rally, you could be like, our buses are leaving about 8:00, and we'll be able to ease our way up there and, make it by 1 p.m. So, everybody who organized this, we all said we want to make this something that can be a day trip for most people, and it'll be great. So anyway, that's exciting news. And if you are, what happened? Sharon Grove? Did I say Sharon?
No.
Oh. Anyway, if you want to join us, that would be fantastic. Again, if you need a ride, we do have a few spots open on buses. You just get in contact with us tonight so we can get that resolved. One of the reasons we just wanted to throw out there's some upcoming legislation that is going to be discussed up in Sacramento. And these are the kinds of things that we're saying no to. So I know that there was a list. Did you want to kind of read off some of these that they're going to be talking about? Now, I want to just take a second and say that these are not bills that are active on the floor at this point yet. These are bills that are in their draft form. They're going to get introduced into their various committees and all of that, but it doesn't really take all that long for some of these things to take place. Some of them are probably long shot, really bad things. Some of them are likely to pass if there's not a big enough stink put up throughout the state. But these are a few things that have been identified that are about to be introduced to in Sacramento.
Yes. So we're looking at COVID vax requirement for kids K through 12, both public and private.
Right.
HPV and meningitis vax requirement for high school students, both public and private, which right now that's not, those are not requirements. I think a lot of physicians, when you take your child in, unless you know that it's not a requirement and you tell them, like, I don't want them to have it, I think a lot of them sneak it in.
Yeah, because they'll just say, "Oh, this is one of your vaccines that you have to take."
And unless you know, you're just like, "Oh, okay, fine."
But they're looking to make it an actual requirement.
Yes. Age of consent for medical treatment reduced to 12 years old.
Read that one again, in case you were like off to the bathroom or something. What is that one?
Age of consent for medical treatment reduced to 12 years old.
Okay, so think about that one for a second. Most of you have had a 12-year-old at some point. Think back to when your kid was 12 years old and their ability to make lifelong medical decisions and whether we want them to be able to do that. I mean, 12 years old, I probably shouldn't have made any of those decisions for myself till I was 30, right? But, at 12 years old, they're talking about allowing kids to make medical decisions, which is just insane. So, that certainly has to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, next one.
Proof of COVID vax for everyone 12 years and older in order to move freely through California.
So, I mean, this is something we've seen other places, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, we're talking about like vaccine passports and stuff along those lines. So, it's going to the conversations are going to happen, with a pretty liberal supermajority in Sacramento. They probably feel like they can just pass whatever they want with no repercussions. So it's one of the things that we have to be awake about and make a big stink about.
Yep. And then COVID vax requirement to work.
Right.
So I guess my question on that one would be, but where would it stop? Because now they're talking about you're not considered fully vaccinated unless you've had a booster.
Sure. No, that's a great question.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of questions about these things. And again, I don't think we haven't even seen the text in these things that are being proposed, but we're expecting those to come up in this session. And so, those are the types of things that we have to stay on top of. And, we'll be putting out information as soon as we hear any of this, like once we have bill numbers, once we know that they're being discussed in committee and all that crazy stuff. I mean, there's a whole process that these things have to go through. But once we catch wind that any of these types of things are being discussed, we'll make sure that everybody knows about it. Again, this is another reason why, get on our directory list, get on the email list and the text list, and make sure that we have that contact info. So if we post something on Facebook and, 200 of you see it, that would mean 1,800 of you are not seeing it.
Yeah.
So, we want to make sure we have alternative methods to be able to get this information out, and that'll be great. So,
and we're not looking to send out text messages all the time. We want to, we also want to respect, you guys and in your time and stuff like that. So don't think that it's going to be like,
Yeah, I mean, we've all subscribed.
We're not going to be like those, like calling about extending your car's warranty. Or
right?
anything.
Yeah, for sure. No, and every one of us probably have subscribed to something that we regretted fairly soon because, then they just started blowing up your phone, either asking for money or with articles or whatever. But, Paul and I have talked about that too. Paul's going to be running that for us. And he said, really, we want to be limited with that so people don't get annoyed. But we do believe that, like texting, for example, we think everybody mostly is going to see a text on their phone. Now you can ignore it. That's great. But, most everybody's going to see it. Whereas a Facebook post or an Instagram post or a YouTube video or whatever, people may not see. So, in my mind, I feel like the texting is going to be the way to go, but we just need to build that list as much as we can. So, and we promise not to abuse it.
And that's now the directory, the directory was originally for like, I guess like just an emergency. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to everybody who has filled out the directory and ask if we can add them to the text content, like the text list,
Right. Yeah. We don't want to take your privacy for granted either. So we understand that, a lot of people are sensitive about what information is out there, and we want to respect that for sure. So, but, as far as being able to communicate, we do feel like that's kind of an important thing, but if you don't want to, then certainly you're not obligated or forced to give us that information.
Yeah, Crystal, really quick. Crystal put pilots in court now regarding vaccine mandates. They are suing FAA for vaccine injuries that have happened during mid-air travel. That's true, actually. I listened to something from Lee Dundas today. I thought I had shared it in the Telegram group, but I guess I didn't. But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm just making a note of something I forgot to talk about. Yeah, all kinds of crazy stuff. So we know that it's been, 2021 was an interesting year for sure, right? I mean, we've all lived through it. We started this group in 2021. We've become friends with all of you. It's a mixed bag for me. 2021 is really, when I think about it and I think back, I'm like, there was a lot of like crazy, really kind of difficult, frustrating things about 2021, but there was also some great things about 2021. And, like meeting all of you guys. We had on New Year's Eve a bunch of people over. It was the craziest thing because we got the next order of our hoodies.
Day. Or wait,
no, it was New Year's Eve. Okay, it was on Friday. But anyway, we had gotten these hoodies in, and there was 65 hoodies of people who had pre-ordered these hoodies, and so we had separated all of them Thursday night and just sent texts out and stuff saying, hey, these are available if you want to come pick them up. Well, the crazy thing was, like, we had, at one point, we probably had to have 20 people in the house at the same time. Just people started showing up at the same time.
All at the same time.
Yeah, which was great because it was cool because you guys came in and we got to just talk and hang out for a little bit and just meet some of you. Honestly, we've seen names and we've seen profiles and stuff, but we haven't actually met a lot of you. And that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I thought it was cool because I had an old coworker, Dana, who showed up, and it was really good to see you. And Jonathan and the girls and stuff. So, I mean, we go way back.
Mm-hmm. So it's been good.
So that was neat.
And so 2021 was, like I said, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? 2022 now is the time where everybody's kind of looking at resolutions and looking at, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to do differently in 22? It's kind of that time where people are hitting that reset button and thinking about, what kind of stuff is coming up. And so we thought it'd be good to just take a few minutes in this live video and talk about some New Year's resolutions and some things that are coming up when it comes to the group itself. So, in 2022, one of the themes that we were talking about a little earlier, maybe one of the little phrases that might be an interesting way of looking at it is if we say 2022, what will you do? Right. So that rhymes. It's like a little Dr. Seuss type of thing. But we think it's going to be really important as we go into this next year to be doing the things. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, last year was a year of kind of building and, reaching out and, trying to grow the number of people in mass. And we need to there I go again, grow the number of people in quantity. Which we need to continue to do, right? We need to double our size, probably at least. But this year, we feel like there's really going to be a focus on doing the things.
Yes.
Right? Boots on the ground.
Yes.
Kind of stuff.
Yes. We need to get up. We need to get out. We need to get probably a little bit uncomfortable. A lot of this, honestly, is very uncomfortable for me. Yeah. If you guys can't tell. I was like, oh, we'll do these like little Facebook Lives. And then I started doing them. And I was like, I'm not meant for this.
You do fine.
So I just let him talk, and then I don't pay attention, and then I'm just messaging back with you guys.
Yep. But
yeah, it's gonna have to get uncomfortable. There's so many things that I've done already, like some of the parades that we did. It's like I don't want to really speak this out because I believe that our our words are really powerful. But so I've been in like 2 parades this year, kind of promoting, what we're doing and stuff. And it like gives me anxiety, like crazy anxiety, you guys, like bad. and poor Jimmy, he's good. But I'm just like, well, I'm going to do it anyways. And so here I am having, very bad anxiety and just like almost like physically sick, to my stomach about it. But I'm like, I do it anyways. I'm like, I do it afraid because I ultimately feel like this is what God is calling us to do.
Right.
And not everybody's going to agree with what we're doing. But you know what? Not everybody agreed with what Jesus did.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like the only thing in my mind that matters is that I'm being obedient to what I believe God has called me to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's uncomfortable. And I don't know, that's how we grow and develop our faith. And if that's what it takes, then that's what I'm going to do. So
yeah. And I think that's really important. And that's something that, I've actually been inspired by, these conversations that we've had, is that phrase that you would say, I'm scared, I'm terrified to do some of the things that we're doing, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I think about that and I'm just like, that is exactly the silver lining in some of this stuff, is the growth that we can experience in ourselves. And I think that when you look at that and you look at the times where you grow and you improve and, as a person, it's the times where you're stretched, and it's the times where you're doing things that are not the comfortable things. And so that's so important. And as we go into this new year, I feel like that needs to be something that we all challenge ourselves to, individually and as a group, because it's so easy, especially in a group that's online based, to sit back and click like or click share or do any of those things. And then when it comes to the actual boots on the ground stuff, when it comes to like physically attending the events, or stepping up and maybe speaking to a school board, or going and talking to your neighbors, or even like there was a thread on our Facebook group about somebody who, or maybe it was a Telegram group,
yes,
about somebody who had gone in and kind of had a confrontation with somebody at Blaze Pizza. And she was just saying, it terrified me because I don't do well with that kind of confrontation, but she did it anyway. And, it really just kind of spoke to my heart and just said, what, this is, aside from, the overall message of what we're doing, this is the kind of personal growth stuff that excites me. And I get to see, this growth in myself, and I get to see it in my wife and in other people, because this does put us in a spot where we're almost forced out of our comfort zone to do things that we would not be comfortable doing. And, that's how things get done. And that's how we grow as people. And it's really kind of an encouraging thing. So we would just challenge you guys as individuals, that as the time comes to step out and do things that are not necessarily in your wheelhouse, step out and do them. If you're scared, do it anyway.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a support system around you and people around you who are willing to, come alongside of you and do that.
Really quick, I just want to speak to Crystal. Crystal's the one that Reynolds wrote, I'm scared to speak without preparing. Now, Crystal, you have done a phenomenal job speaking without preparing. Like what you spoke at the Tulare Joint Union High School District meeting was
perfection.
Yes.
It was, when Marilyn and I talked about that afterwards, because I knew that about you, because you've shared that with us, is that, you like to feel like you're prepared, or you feel lost if you're not fully prepared to speak.
Yeah.
And we knew that was off the cuff, and both of us were just like, that was perfect, exactly what you needed to do. So it was phenomenal. So, and if we didn't tell you that, then we should have.
And then Joseph Beaton said, be very afraid if I show up to a board meeting without a script.
Well, some of us, who knows? Yeah, no, that's fine. But, stretching out is a big deal, and, making sure that we're doing the things that we're called to do as we go into the new year. The other thing is we have to. I just lost my train of thought. I saw a comment and I just lost it. We're going to have a lot of stuff that is going to be difficult this upcoming year. And, we've kind of, when it comes to school boards, we've started putting the school boards on notice that, if they're not going to fight for our liberty alongside of us, then we're going to replace them with people who will. And so we've asked some of them to resign. We've told them that we will vote them out and replace them with better candidates. We've told them that we may recall and start the recall process on some of them as well. And so, any of those things that we move forward with, these are necessary things, but they're extremely uncomfortable and difficult things to do. And so there's a reason why this stuff doesn't get done all the time. There's a reason why we're in the situation that we're in, because if it was just a quick, easy fix, somebody else would have done it. But, now here we are. And, we were talking the other day at the house here about, every generation, it seems like, is faced with a moment in their lives where they're either going to step up or they're going to shrink back.
Yeah.
And we feel like this is this moment in our generation where we're going to look at our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren, and we're either going to tell them that we stepped up or we're going to tell them that we shrank back. And, even though it's hard, even though none of us have done this before, even though we're trying to figure it out as we go, like, it is so important to do the things, to go out there and, take back the things that have been taken from us, and to do the right thing, to put us back on the right side of history. And so it's going to take us doing the things and putting boots on the ground to make that happen, right?
When I was sharing with Jimmy the other day, I was just like, I don't know, maybe I'm a little selfish, but I kind of enjoy my freedom.
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to give that up easily.
Right.
Like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen.
Right. So, just challenge yourself is the advice that we would give you. Challenge yourself to step out and be uncomfortable. Challenge yourself to be scared, but then to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And, you're going to find on a personal level that it's incredibly rewarding. You're going to do things that you never thought you could before. And, it's going to be an amazing thing. And, whether or not you're a person of faith, like we firmly believe that, when you pray and you ask God, how are you directing us? What are we supposed to do? And then you do those things. He's always going to challenge you to do stuff you're not comfortable with. But when you do those and you walk through those things with him, then your faith is going to increase. You're going to see yourself grow as a person. You're going to see the impact that you're having, in your own household and in the world. There's just so many positive things. Even when things don't go the way you think they're going to go, you're going to see that just incredible fruit come from that obedience. And so that's kind of why we talk about that all the time, is being obedient to the things that you feel called to do. And, it's going to be an exciting thing, but it also means stepping out and doing the things that are uncomfortable. So 2022, what will you do? We're going to need boots on the ground. The other thing we were going to just talk about real quick is 2022. What will you consume? This was something I've been thinking about really for a long time, and I've had to kind of put myself in check and just, really pay attention, I guess, to the things that we consume. And we live in the information age. We live in a time and a place where there is so much information available at our fingertips. Like, you go on the internet and you can find, 1,000 different people talking about whatever it is that you want to know about, right? And so some of it is good, some of it is great, some of it is garbage. To be honest. And not all the stuff that is garbage is on the other side of our issues. We have plenty of people on our side who are peddling fear, for example. Lots of people who are making lots of money on us being scared and keeping us scared. That doesn't just happen on the left. That doesn't just come from CNN or any of those places. We've got folks who are conservative who are profiting a lot on us staying in fear as well. You've got a lot of misinformation. There's stuff out there. I don't know why people just make up flat out lies and post it on the internet, but I see things out there all the time, even in our stuff, where I'm just like, I don't think that is accurate, like, at all. And so what happens is we have so many different media sources that come in and just try to become a part of what we're consuming, that we really have to take a step back. And we were talking just before the live about, like, both of us have experienced at some point this desire to, like, be the first person to break news.
Well, especially as being like the admin in the group, I felt like it was like my responsibility to get the information to people, like, first.
Yeah.
And I would be like, what if I'm not the first one to know? Like, what if somebody comes to me with information that I didn't know about?
Right.
And I felt like then I wasn't.
You felt like you were, like, slacking or something, right?
Yes. Yeah.
No, but it's something, like, it was funny because both of us were talking about it. And I said, I've gone through this where I felt like I had to be the first one to post it. And she's like, oh my gosh, I've gone through the same thing. And you can raise your hand in the comments if you've been in the same way, but it's almost like even subconsciously we're racing the other people. I saw this and I want to be the first one to get it in the group. And what can happen with that is we open ourselves up and we make ourselves susceptible to passing on things that shouldn't be passed on. And so, when it comes to, like, fact checking or trying to make sure that what we're sharing is real, is appropriate, stays in our lane and all of that stuff, when we're trying to, like, be the first person to be able to break that news, then we end up, probably sharing some stuff that we shouldn't. Mm-hmm. And so the kind of the general rule that I've established is, like, when in doubt, just sit back and sit on it. If it's something that, I don't understand fully, or if it's something that, may or may not be what it presents itself to be, like, I'm just going to hold off and see kind of what happens. Because usually in the next 2 or 3 days, like, things will, work themselves out. Let me give you an example. So, like, San Diego Unified and the court case that happened down through there was a lot of information that got thrown out there right away. Like, I was seeing posts about, well, no more mandates, like, mandates are gone. Our kids are never going to be mandated to get this vaccine and, all of that. And so there was a lot of people sharing, like, that perspective and that false information. And that's not what it was. And so, after a few days of just kind of sitting back and processing through and reading what I could and all that, then we made a post that kind of corrected some of that and just provided information about what that actually meant. Same thing when it comes to LA Unified or any of these other stories that have broken, which are great stories. Like, I don't want to take anything away from the news. I don't want to take anything away from the fact that people have been stopped from doing bad things. Like, that's fantastic news, but we need to make sure that we're presenting it accurately.
Well, and I don't know that it was so much that it was misinformation as it was a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I don't think it was malicious.
No. But for me, the information is so overwhelming that a lot of times I'm like, okay, Jimmy, I just need to talk this out with you because what?
Yeah.
I am so inundated with so much information that I can't even, like, keep things straight. And I have to, sometimes I'm like, okay, Marilyn, that's when you need to just take a step back and remove yourself from it.
Right.
Because there's so much. And even my doctor is like, be careful not to get too inundated with it because
it can put you in a bad place.
Yeah. And it can, and it's very overwhelming.
Yeah. So what's the challenge then? The challenge from us to you on a personal level is to just kind of take a look, maybe look at all the different groups that you're a part of, maybe all the different feeds that you follow, the different ways that you're consuming media, and just evaluate it. And if you can, like, just drop some of them, just, because it can get so, like, if we're constantly looking at our phone and getting hundreds or thousands of notifications a day because somebody posted whatever, that's not healthy. And we're not going to do anybody any good, including ourselves, if we're just constantly barraged with this stuff. So I would challenge you, like, pick the ones, like Unmasked Tulare County is probably the one you need to keep on your shameless plug. But, and hopefully we don't barrage you with a bunch of, like, crazy stuff, but, really just take a look at it and say, okay, honestly, like, what what is bringing value into my life? What is bringing value and pushing me toward the thing that I believe God is asking me to do? And the other stuff, just let it go. You don't have to be the expert on all things. I don't have to be the expert on all things. Like, let's just do the thing that we're called to do, and not allow so much content into our mind that it drives us into a place of anxiety, or it drives us into a place where we can't function, or it drives us to a place where we're ignoring our families, or we're not doing the things that we need to do because we're so consumed here, or we're so uh, just inundated with media and the things that we're consuming. So that would be the challenge. Just evaluate where you are right now as we go into 22. We know that we need to do the things. We know that we need to jump out there, do the uncomfortable things, and try to make an impact locally. Like, how much of the other stuff can I cut out of my life and still do the things that I feel like I'm being called to do? So that would be our advice. And obviously you can take it or leave it. You don't have to do these things, but I would encourage you to reevaluate the things that you're consuming. Guard yourself against information overload. All right, so moving along here, 2022, we believe, is the year that we start taking things back. So, we talk about doing the things. What are the things? The things are, really, as it relates to government and local government, it's doing the things to start taking this stuff back, taking the ground that we've lost back from those who have taken it from us. So, those of us who are in a group like this and like-minded the way we are, we believe in, limited government, and that sovereignty belongs to the people, right? That we are all sovereign beings. We are all born with liberty and freedom. And we grant some of that to government to basically secure those rights for us, protect those rights for us, not take them away. And so we know that government has lost its way. We know that we're on a path that we shouldn't be on. And 2022 is the year where we start to take those things back. So when we talk about going into school boards and either recalling or unelecting some folks, or any way that we're going to start taking these back, that's what we're talking about. These are the things that we're moving toward, is saying, okay, people that we've elected, if you're not representing us properly, then we need to replace you with people who are. And so when we talk about taking things back, when it comes to local school boards, elections, of county supervisor seats, all of these locally elected positions of authority, like, we need to make sure we have the right people in place so that we can live the way that we believe we should be living, right?
Yeah.
So the freedom you're talking about not wanting to let go of so easily, we need to secure that. And the way we do that in America is through our elected representatives. So, that's going to be one of the big targets. And you're going to start seeing a lot more information very soon about, things like recalls and things like calls to find people to run against folks who are going to be up for election in 22. We've been talking about it a little bit. Now it's time to actually, the rubber's meeting the road, and it's time to put those boots on the ground and do it. So, I'm excited. It's scary, but I'm excited because I think that we're going to see some really cool stuff happen as a result of what's going on. Yeah. Anything else on that?
No, I'm like, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Wanted to just a couple of things. We actually talked a lot about it tonight, but non-Facebook media. I just want to throw this out there again. Like, we need to make sure that we stay connected in ways that are not just on Facebook or Messenger or something where someone is going to just make a decision. You know what? I don't like that group. I'm shutting it down. Like, that's happened to a lot of groups that are like ours, maybe a little bit bigger than ours, but a lot of people have just straight up been shut down. So we need to make sure that we have those connections. So texting, email lists, like, go to the website, get yourself signed up for those things, go to the directory on our Facebook page, make sure that you have that information so that we can contact you in a way that's other than Facebook. The last thing I wanted to say, and then we'll probably go through a couple of these questions real quick before we sign off, but I've been working on something that that I'm kind of excited about, to be honest. It's a resolution for school boards and school board members that would basically shoot. I was going to print it and kind of go through some of the highlights, but we've all seen the news where it's like, okay, Rockland Unified passed this resolution, or such and such school board passed this resolution. And we've kind of been like, dang, I wish that Tulare County would do something like that. And I know a lot of you have probably forwarded those resolutions to your school boards and said, hey, can we do something like that?
And if you've forwarded any of that information to your districts, I'm kind of interested to know if you've received a reply.
Yeah, and what it was, right?
And what they said. So if anybody has that information.
But one of the things that I've learned in this journey is that if you don't spoon feed what you want to these elected officials, then you're probably not going to get any sort of response. Mm-hmm. And you're definitely not going to get the thing that you want to have happen. So I was like, okay, I'm feeling, I just have felt this leading, I guess, to draw one of these resolutions up. And, I've told some school board members, look, if you would just give the option for choice, if you would commit to choice, then, we don't necessarily have a problem here. If you would just guarantee the fact that we're always going to have the choice to make our own decisions for us and make mm-hmm. our own decisions for our kids, and for teachers and staff and employees to be able to make their own decisions when it comes to their health. If you can commit to that and promise that, then, I consider that to be fighting along with us. And I think we're back in a good place. And so basically what we've done is drafted a resolution that would do that. And so it's a fairly, it's fairly neutral when it comes to the vaccine. We didn't want it to come off like, oh, we hate this vaccine and it's the worst thing in the world, even though many of us probably believe that. But we knew that if it came to trying to get something like that passed from a school board, it would be difficult to do. So we came at it from a very neutral standpoint, just kind of facts about, what the governor is planning to do with the schools and the vaccine mandates and all that kind of stuff. And, the fact that there is a lot of hesitation and there's a lot of reservations about that by staff, by parents, by everybody. And it's basically a resolution that says we resolve to honor the choice of our parents, honor the choice of our students, honor the choice of our teachers, and we will not enforce any mandates that come out that would require us to fire teachers and staff, or would require us to exclude students from the schools, from in-person instruction. And I think if we can get one or several of the school boards in the area to discuss this and say, you know what, we are going to do this, the dominoes would fall. We really just need to get the first or second one. Nobody wants to be the first one to stick their head up, but I do believe that there will be several districts, and certain districts are going to be, opposed to it regardless and all that. But I do think we can get several if we can just get one. So what we've done is just drafted this resolution. I've got a handful of people that I trust reading over it and, offering some feedback. And then in the next week or so, we're going to be sending that out to you guys to be able to just plug in the information that's appropriate for your district, and then send it off to your superintendents and your elected officials and your board members and say, hey, you guys need to take a look at this resolution and pass it. And, and then we'll see what goes on with that. We'll get it on agendas. And, you guys know you can put things on the agenda. You just have to give the proper amount of notice to the school boards and say, hey, I want this on the agenda. I want it discussed at the next board meeting. And they have to do it. Like, they don't have a choice. These are public meetings. And, these are public school boards. So, unless you're in a private school district, maybe things are a little bit different. But when it comes to the public schools, when parents or community members ask for something to be put on the agenda, it has to get on there. So there's a little bit of a process for doing that, but it mostly has to do with the timing. Like in Tulare, for example, you have to put it in 2 weeks ahead of time before the board meeting in order for it to get put on the agenda. So, as long as you meet that timeline, then you can get it on there. So what we're going to ask everybody to do is just send that in to your school district and get it on the agenda, and then show up. And they're going to have to discuss it and talk about it. I mean, they may just look at the superintendent and, get guidance from them, but then, and you kind of understand like who's willing to discuss, who's not willing to discuss. Hopefully you'll get a good discussion among the board members about what's going on. And what that does is it allows us to identify where they are, because you might have a board member or two that are just like, no, we're not doing that because COVID is going to be blah, blah, blah. And you might have some that are more open to it. So we need to identify those that are just trying to shut everything down and shut us down. And those are the people that we're going to go after when it comes to recalls or voting them out. And, these are tools that we can use to identify who those people are and, get it done. And hopefully we're going to get some of these boards to discuss it and say, you know what? I'm not willing to lose 200 or 300 teachers. I'm not willing to lose thousands of students when we come into this mandate season. And so in the best interest, the ethical thing to do is to say, we're not going to enforce this. And so really that's what we're asking for. And I shouldn't say that, that's kind of what we're demanding at this point. And if they're not willing to do it, then they're going to be able to isolate who those people are that need to go. So it's I'm excited about it. I think it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I've been waiting for someone else to do it. And I read through like the Rockland one. I read through, the other ones that have passed their resolutions, and there was stuff in them I just didn't like, or I didn't feel like it was appropriate. And so we wanted to write something that felt like was really good. So, and I think it's pretty good. And we'll send it to you in Word document too, so you can edit or change things if you feel like it needs to be. But anyway, it's good, and it's coming soon, and should be there right in time for these January meetings that the school boards are going to be having. Okay.
You should go through some of these comments.
I should go through some of these comments. Let's see. What do we have? People being feisty.
Yeah.
Okay. God does call the qualified. He qualifies the called. I think he doesn't call the qualified, but he qualifies the call. Absolutely. Misinformation is a two-way street. That is correct.
Yeah, that was Chris.
Never have to apologize for scrutinizing. That's true. If you, just hit the pause button, that goes back to, posting something really quickly. But, scrutinizing that and analyzing, it's always a good thing. Question, what's going on with the lawyer filing a lawsuit on behalf of teachers and staff in Tulare County? Can't answer that question very well just because of attorney-client privileges. I know some things, but I don't know if I'm even supposed to know some things. It's still on the table. We're looking for people who meet that qualification and are willing to see it through to the end. And basically what he's referring to is we had a very generous donor donate the legal fees to, pursue a lawsuit for those who have been harmed by these mandates. And so there were a handful of teachers and classified staff who have refused testing and been put on unpaid administrative leave. And, those people have been harmed now financially, emotionally, like all of those things. They have legal harm that they have legal standing to be able to file a lawsuit. And so we've been working on getting people connected to pursue that. It's been a little slower process. There's been a lot of people who've had second thoughts and all of that, but it is still on the table. One thing I will say is that if you or a loved one have been harmed by COVID vaccination requirements and mandates, reach out and let us know. And we're not talking about people who are potentially going to be harmed in the future. We're talking about people who have currently been fired or put on unpaid administrative leave or things along those lines. And we might be able to help you in that regard.
You sounded like one of those commercials. Did you do that on purpose?
That was intentional.
Okay, I caught it.
If you were a loved one. What is bringing value to my day? That would be the last book of the Bible. Spending a lot of time studying prophecy. Amazing how much God loves us. I would agree with that for sure. Let's see. I sent all the VUSD school board members the Rockland resolution and had 0 response. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's kind of what my point is. Who said that?
Paul.
Oh, that was Paul. So I think that, one of the things that I've learned going into any of this stuff is when you're asking for something, like we can, or let me back up. When we send them information for their information, I think it's good that we stay in contact with them. But when it comes to getting them to actually do something, I think they look at it and they say, okay, great. And they move on. Okay, great. When it comes to asking them to do something, our ask has to be very specific. And Paul, I don't know what your email looked like. It may have had a very specific ask, so I'm not accusing you or anything. But I think when it comes to, look, here's a sample of a resolution that we want you to, it's not even a sample. This is the resolution that we want you to discuss. It's got your name on it. It's got your information on it. You could pass this as is right here. And, we want this discussed and voted on at the next meeting. Like that's the kind of specific ask that we have to be putting into our boards. Because if we get general about it, hey, we'd like you guys to consider a resolution about such and such, then it's going to be months down the line while they figure out their verbiage and they go back and forth on whatever, or even decide to do it. But if you give them something that is specific and it's like, look, you could sign your name to this today and it'll be ready, then it kind of forces them to at least have to respond. And if we tell them, look, I'm sending you this for discussion at the next board meeting, please put this on your agenda and we'll look forward to seeing it and hearing your discussion. It's not we're asking, maybe it's saying this is what you need to do. You need to put it on the discussion and we'll be there to comment on it and listen to what you have to say. And hopefully you'll vote on it correctly. So let's be specific in the requests that we're making or the demands.
Now, Paul did comment that he sent that. He said, of course, it was December 23rd.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they're probably all on vacation.
So
who knows? We'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Chris, where are you at? Not sure. Reply. I request. Okay. Crystal asked, is it a Brown Act violation if something is requested to be put on agenda and they don't do it?
I don't know what kind of violation it would be. It might be a Brown Act violation, but I know that unless it's like outside of their jurisdiction, because that's one thing that I've learned too, because you could ask them to make a resolution on foreign policy and how President Biden withdrew from Afghanistan, right? And so that obviously has nothing to do with the school board. It doesn't have anything to do with their business and is well outside their jurisdiction. So, I mean, they can refuse stuff like that. I suppose something that they feel they have no control over, they might try to say that it's not within their jurisdiction. That might be the response that we get from stuff like this. But then we could come back and say other districts have done it. Why is it in their jurisdiction but not yours? And there's arguments to be made there. Specifically, is it a Brown Act violation? I don't know. I don't have a direct answer to that.
Well, Lori replied, not sure about that. She was replying to Crystal's comment about the Brown Act violation. She said, not sure about that, but we could pursue a grand jury indictment for ignoring the request.
Lori, you are on it, girl. Good job. So that's I don't talk a whole lot about that, but that's one of the irons that's in the fire. And, that's something that you may have started hearing us ask for people to sign notices and affidavits. But that's really what we're doing, is we're building a case against them if they're not responding and not doing their job and not doing the things that they're supposed to be doing as our elected officials. So the other side of all of this is when we don't get the answers that we want from the documents we're sending, the things that we're requesting, and all of this, they're hurting themselves by ignoring us. They're hurting themselves by not responding. And the way they're hurting themselves is they're actually building our case against them when it comes to them not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so, that is one of the legs of the stool, if you will, that we are working on, is building this case countywide. Actually, it's not going to be limited to one specific district, but we are looking at grand jury complaints, and we're looking at doing our best to get a grand jury investigation or indictment if they are in fact ignoring these kind of things. So we're right on the same page, Lori. I appreciate your comment on that. Somebody said something about the ransomware attack. Yeah, I heard something about that with VUSD, that some of that stuff that the parents got was actually ransomware. It wasn't actually from the district. I don't know. We'll see. Is there anything else that you wanted to respond to here?
No, really, it was the Brown Act violation that I wasn't sure about.
Okay. No, that's great. So Paul's on here, and he's Paul, for those of you who don't know Paul, he's kind of our media guy when it comes to our website, building the text lists, the email lists, sending out, like those of you who got the email yesterday or the other day about this Facebook Live, like he's the one who handles all that kind of stuff. So, being able to maybe message him some information, Paul, we'll see what the best way to get these cell phone numbers. You may not want to put your cell phone number in a public chat. I don't think I would, but you can send that to us. You can reach out to like Paul Belt or myself or Marilyn, through Messenger or something, or, however you would choose to get a hold of us, and we can make sure that you get onto those lists that you'd like to be on. So anyway, it's good. And Paul, we appreciate everything that you're doing as well. These corrupt school boards in Tulare and Visalia will not comment much on this resolution. It's a good idea to paint them into a corner, but we can't waste 3 months trying to get boards to comment. We need to start planning their removal ASAP. So I can't see who that is. I'm guessing it's John. Okay. I'm with you, bro. So, let's get it done. Let's get it going and figure it out, and, strike when the iron is hot, and so we can be successful in this. I've always tried to say it's not a one way or another way thing. It's all of the above. We have to explore every option that we have.
Yeah.
And, some of us are going to be stronger in certain lanes than others, and we need to focus on those things, but we need people to step up. And that's, when I talk about boots on the ground, that's one of the biggest things I'm talking about, is when we start these recall efforts, it's a difficult task to get the number of signatures in the number of days that you need to do it in.
Yeah.
And so it's going to take an organized little army to make that happen in every district that we try to make this happen. And so if we go simultaneously in Visalia, the 2 Tulare school boards, Porterville, Exeter, Woodlake, wherever we're going to be, we have to be smart about it, because we don't want to spread it too thin where we're, have 2 people in each district, trying to make this thing happen. So we need everybody. And we so appreciate the core of people who are, watching these lives and doing the things and all of this already. I don't want to ever make it sound like we're not grateful for those of you who have, because there's been a lot of you who have been faithful and have been, at every event that we've done, and you've been amazing. And so not taking anything away from that, we just recognize that the number of people doing that needs to grow and needs to get bigger. And so that's, the reason for the comments that we have going on here tonight. So the question came in, are the buses filled? No, there are spots on buses still. So if you do last minute want to go, we can make that happen. We've had a lot of people who are driving themselves up that we didn't kind of anticipate. So, that's opened up some spots on buses. This is for tomorrow for the Sacramento trip. If you have somebody that was on the fence, or you want to invite some people last second, it is we're leaving in 12 hours. So, it would be last minute to make that happen, but you certainly can do that. All right. Well, we're well into this thing. It's 8:15. We've kept you, and most of you have stayed on, which we're very grateful for. But did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm not good at the lives, remember?
I got you. Okay. Well, Happy New Year. We love you guys. We appreciate you. We're proud to fight alongside of you. And we're going to win this thing. It may take a while. It may be, it will be a very difficult road ahead. But, it's worth it to fight for liberty and freedom and the the future of our children and our grandchildren and all of that, like, it's worth it. And this is the fight of our generation. So I would ask you this: are you going to step up, or are you going to shrink back? Come what may, we're in on this thing. So, we'd ask you to join us and step up when you're called upon. So
real quick, somebody asked a question. They said, for those who can't go, will there be any footage? I would imagine we'll probably do a couple little lives and stuff.
So. And there will be, from other groups and things, I'm sure there will be other videos and things that happen. So if we do hear of like a live stream, for example, we'll go ahead and post that. Mm-hmm. We'll put a link to it. That way people who are not there can still be a part. So anyway, we'll let you know as soon as we know something when it comes to that. All right. Cool. All right, guys, we love you. We appreciate you. And we will talk soon. Have a great rest of your Sunday evening. We'll talk to you later.